In multinational enterprises, MNEs, research and development (R&D) services play a critical role in innovation and long-term competitiveness. These services are often outsourced to various entities within the corporate group, depending on the nature of the activity, risk allocation, and financial arrangements. The structure of R&D service providers can broadly be categorized into three models: contract R&D providers, cost-sharing participants, and fully-fledged R&D entities. Each model has distinct characteristics, responsibilities, and transfer pricing implications. A contract R&D service provider operates as an entity that performs research and development activities on behalf of the principal company. This model is characterized by its limited scope and risk exposure. The principal retains ownership of any resulting intellectual property, IP, and assumes all associated risks, including those related to market acceptance, technological failure, and commercial viability. The contract R&D provider acts solely as a service provider, relying on detailed instructions from the principal regarding project specifications and deliverables. For example, a contract R&D provider in a low-cost jurisdiction may be tasked with developing specific components of a larger product under the direct supervision of the principal. The provider does not engage in decision-making regarding the direction of the research, nor does it have any claim to the IP or its subsequent commercialization. Compensation for the contract R&D provider is typically based on a cost-plus methodology, ensuring a routine return that reflects its limited risk and functional profile. This arrangement benefits MNEs seeking to centralize IP ownership while utilizing specialized talent in lower-cost locations. A cost-sharing participant, in contrast, shares both the costs and risks of R&D activities with other entities within the MNE group. Under a cost-sharing arrangement, multiple entities agree to jointly fund R&D projects and share the resulting IP in proportion to their contributions. This model requires a more collaborative approach, as each participant assumes a portion of the financial risk associated with the R&D process and benefits directly from any IP generated. For instance, a US-based company might enter into a cost-sharing agreement with its European subsidiary to develop a new pharmaceutical product. Each entity contributes to the project, either through funding or by performing specific R&D activities, and retains ownership rights to the IP in their respective markets. This model allows for decentralized innovation and ensures that the economic benefits of the R&D activities are aligned with the risks borne by each participant. Cost-sharing arrangements are subject to strict scrutiny by tax authorities, particularly regarding the valuation of contributions and the allocation of IP rights. Accurate documentation is critical to support the arm's-length nature of such arrangements and to avoid potential disputes. The functional and risk profiles of these R&D models have significant implications for transfer pricing. Contract R&D providers, given their low-risk nature, are entitled only to routine returns, which are benchmarked against comparable low-risk service providers. Cost-sharing participants must demonstrate that their contributions are proportional to the risks and benefits they share, requiring detailed documentation and robust methodologies for valuing contributions. Fully-fledged R&D entities, by contrast, justify their entitlement to residual profits by assuming entrepreneurial risks and creating substantial value through their innovations. Tax authorities around the world are increasingly focused on the alignment of profits with value creation, particularly in the context of R&D activities. The OECD's Base Erosion and Profit Shifting (BEPS) framework and its guidelines on intangible assets emphasize the need for clear documentation of functions, assets, and risks. For contract R&D providers, This means establishing that their limited scope of activities aligns with their routine returns. For cost-sharing arrangements, detailed agreements are required to allocate costs and benefits fairly among participants. Fully-fledged R&D entities must provide evidence of their entrepreneurial contributions and the risks they bear to substantiate their residual profit claims. The regulatory landscape for R&D activities is also evolving. Tax authorities are scrutinizing arrangements where the legal ownership of IP is divorced from the economic activities that generate it. For instance, a contract R&D provider that operates as a low-cost service provider but retains no decision-making authority or risk cannot claim ownership of IP under most tax frameworks. Similarly, cost-sharing agreements must withstand scrutiny regarding the valuation of contribution and the alignment of IP rights with economic activity. Economic and technological developments further complicate the landscape for R&D service providers. The integration of digital tools such as artificial intelligence, big data analytics, and automation into the R&D process is transforming the way research is conducted. These advancements can create additional value in the R&D process, requiring transfer pricing policies to account for the contributions of these technologies. For example, a contract R&D provider using advanced analytics to accelerate research may warrant a higher markup than traditional low-risk providers due to the additional value created by its technological capabilities. In conclusion, the functional profiles of R&D service providers, contract, cost-sharing, and fully-fledged, represent distinct approaches to innovation within MNEs, each with its own implications for risk, reward, and transfer pricing compliance. Contract R&D providers operate as low-risk entities focused on routine activities, earning predictable returns aligned with their limited role. Cost-sharing participants take a collaborative approach, sharing the risks and benefits of R&D projects and jointly owning the resulting IP. Fully-fledged R&D entities function as entrepreneurial centers of innovation, bearing significant risks and earning residual profits from their contributions. Understanding these distinctions is critical for MNEs to ensure compliance with transfer pricing regulations, align profits with value creation, and adapt to evolving economic and regulatory conditions. By clearly documenting the roles, risks, and rewards of each R&D model, MNEs can mitigate transfer pricing risks and foster sustainable innovation strategies that drive long-term success.